But then you get down into the individual piece, and I hate the run a team or a company as a family mantra. I don't think it holds up, but there's not anybody on my teams that I wouldn't jump in a car and drive across the United States and do something for. It's weird. I think when you build the right culture in a team and you build the right structure in a team and you spend a lot of time getting to know each other and knowing their personal cycles and rhythms and cadences and their family things and their health things, when you really get into that with people, it gives you a different perspective. And just to wrap around on my 20s and 30s early, like when you see people like, oh, why don't they just fire that guy or that girl or that person because they're not performing? Well, it gets into this thing as you get to know people. It's like that's somebody's livelihood, that's somebody's plan to have kids, that's somebody's plan to buy a house. And as soon as I started managing people, something clicked in my head where I'm like, this isn't just about hire and fire. There has to be more to that, because these are people and they are the asset, not the application, not the service we offer. The people are really the asset. And if we don't treat them that way, then we're doing it wrong.
It's interesting you brought that up, because that's something that I actually just had that conversation with one of my managers this morning, just talking about how when you're looking at somebody who is, working in your organization and maybe they're struggling with something, what you always have to keep in mind is they're a person, and what you're seeing at work is being impacted by all of this stuff going on outside. They're not one-dimensional. They're not a work entity. And they may, obviously we've got pandemics going on. They may be, greatly impacted by that. They may be greatly impacted by an elderly parent that's sick. They may be impacted by sick kids. You name it. There's all kinds of external stressors going on. And so you've always got to keep that in mind when you're working with your people, that you're only one part of their life, right? And while we're focused on this stuff at work, you got to make sure you're keeping in mind that there's other stuff that you may need to help them deal with, even though it's not your responsibility.
Well, Greg, if we're talking about leadership here, there is still a time that despite whatever the extenuating circumstances are in someone's life, maybe you do have to let them go because that's what's right for the company. And as a leader in a management role, you have to make that decision. Is that fair?
You do. Yeah, that's perfectly fair, right? So at the end of the day, it is a business. At the end of the day, you do have, results that you have to deliver. I guess my point is you can't be quick on the trigger with such things, right? You've really got to be thinking it through before you make those moves, and realizing that there's more to it, because it may not be as cut and dried as, hey, I got to fire this person. It may be, maybe this isn't the right role for this person, but maybe they still value in the company and we can move them around or things like that, find new opportunities for them even within your own org. So it's not always just a cut and dry, hire, fire kind of scenario.
You've also got to look at those circumstances when you get to that point, because there's different ways to address it. I've done a bunch of different strategies around this. Greg said he doesn't like to micromanage. He doesn't like the minute by minute thing. I hate it. My teams hate it. I treat my teams as adults and let them go win. But I've been in situations where somebody on the team literally said, I'm the only one doing work in a 15-person team. And, I can't get my stuff done because nobody else does. And I went, okay, well, you're not going to like me, but everybody download Harvest and every 30 minutes start accounting for your time. And I'm going to start digging through Jira, and I'm going to kind of be a pain in the ass for the next 4 weeks. And I was, and the team complained, and most of the team is still here, by the way. This is in the current role. Most of them are still, and they bring it up all the time. Remember that time Josh made us track our time? I'm like, yeah, thanks. Let's keep hitting me with that. That led to somebody leaving the organization. But not the, I guess my point is you adapt strategies to get to the right data. And that took an extra 4, 6, 8 weeks to narrow it down. So you got to pay attention to what's going on around you and understand, okay, this could be true. If it is, then I failed as a manager and I've got to fix something in the team. Otherwise, you collect enough data to go, nope, it really is a problem with you. It's time to move on.
And that's the thing for me is I want to be the nice person that everybody gets along with, and I struggle if someone doesn't like me. So if you stick me in that management role, I'm going to struggle with that person working under my leadership that is not performing well because I'm non-confrontational and so on. So But that's a big part of the job. You need to be able to balance not only whatever's going on with that person in their life that maybe is leading to that underperformance, but also when you can't get them past and get them to the level that they need to be at, you got to be able to let them go. That's tough.
Yeah, the best managers that I've had have the ability, like I think you mentioned, Josh, is being able to separate the fact that this is a whole person and they're going to have stuff that's outside of my realm, and I need to think about what's best for them as a whole human, not just what's best for them in the context of this organization. And also what's best for the organization, and that might not be this individual working here anymore.